Good evening. I am Maria Masani and this is Qtv News coming to you live from our studios along the Caraba Avenue. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main local, international and sports news headlines. In an event broadcast live on QTV, President Barrow took the first COVID-19 jab after launching the Gambia coronavirus vaccination campaign through the Qtv Vaccine sharing initiative. As part of events marking the International Women's Day, female lawyers shared success stories of how they overcame numerous challenges in achieving their dreams. A bridge linking Nyorajata and Sankande Upper and Senior Secondary School in Kiang West is in such a bad state that students hesitate crossing on it, causing many to report late to school. The community of Bundung and former students of Bundung Primary School recently bade farewell to a teacher for his 30 years continuous service at the school. In sports news, the third edition of the QCell-sponsored football tournament concluded in Bassa Mini Stadium on Saturday. But who are the winners? Those were our main headlines. Now the local news in detail. Stay with us. The Gambia has become the latest country to launch the coronavirus vaccination campaign through the Qtv Vaccine sharing initiative. A shipment of 36,000 doses of the Astrazeneca and 10,000 Sinopharm vaccines arrived in Banjul a week ago. Aliu Sisa witnessed the ceremony at the State House in Banjul, and he now reports.
After more than a year of disruptions due to the deadly COVID-19 pandemic, with more than 4,000 confirmed cases in the Gambia and over 100 lives lost, hopes are now high among Gambians that a solution has finally been found. The first batch of 36,000 doses of vaccines delivered to the Gambia were produced by the Serum Institute of India. The Astrazeneca vaccine, developed by Oxford University, whose team includes a Gambian, Dr. Mustafa Bitey, has been approved by the World Health Organization. The program plans to deliver about 2 billion doses to 190 countries globally by the end of the year. The COVAX scheme aims to support poorer countries that may not be able to afford to pay for doses and aims to reach up to 20% of the populations of poorer countries at no cost to their governments. The historic launch of the Gambia National COVID-19 vaccination program was presided over by President Barrow, who had the first vaccination administered to him. Also in attendance were members of the diplomatic corps, health personnel, religious leaders, and cabinet members, among others. The vaccination exercise is expected to commence soon, with frontline healthcare workers, those over 65, and people with underlying health conditions to be prioritized. President Barrow welcomed the arrival of the vaccines as he assured Gambians of their safety. He announced that the World Bank has provided resources to procure up to 40% of the extra vaccines needed for the country. The government, he further reveals, is also working with MRC Gambia and other partners to provide additional vaccines. He also thanked President Macky Sall for the 10,000 doses of Sinopharm vaccine donated to the Gambia by Senegal.
It is a relief, therefore, that suitable vaccines have been discovered, tested and approved by reliable experts.
The WHO and other UN partners, including UNICEF, is leading this COVAX scheme and also involves the Global Vaccine Alliance and the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations. Dr. Desta Tourné, the WHO country representative, and the UNICEF country representative, Gordon Jonathan Lewis, said it was a momentous occasion and critical in bringing the pandemic to an end.
This is a day many of us have been dreaming of and working for more than 12 months. It's gratifying to see the fruits of that labor.
And also, let us not forget that at one point last year, approximately 700,000 children and adolescents were impacted by the protracted and the prolonged closure of schools.
The Gambia has been experiencing a second wave of the pandemic with an upsurge of cases. The Gambia's Health Minister, Dr. Ahmad Lamin Samate, thanked the healthcare workers and all volunteers, including Red Cross personnel, for their service.
There has been renewed commitment from the government to make sure that the healthcare sector of this country is second to none in our sub-region.
The arrival of the much-awaited vaccine is seen as a major step, but just the beginning to ending the pandemic.
Excellency President, how is the experience like having taken the vaccination?
It's not painful. It's as easy as drinking water. I'm telling you, it's not painful at all.
The donors to the COVAX initiative include the United States of America, who contributed 39% of the total fund so far. The arrival of the vaccine is a complement to the preventive measures against the pandemic. It is therefore important that people continue to wear masks, maintain physical distancing, and hand washing regularly. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliu Sise.
We have Dr. Shamila Jah live on the phone to tell us more about the launching of the vaccine. She is a National Professional Officer responsible for disease control and prevention of the WHO. Dr. Shamila, good evening.
Good evening, Mariama.
It's good to have you.
Good to hear from you too.
We witnessed the vaccine rollout today. What's the significance of President Barrow being the first to take the job? We saw a similar thing in Ghana.
It is highly significant and indeed it's very commendable. The significance is that His Excellency the President is confident in the safety, the quality and efficacy of the vaccine. He has clearly set the stage and sent a message to allay the fears some people may be having due to unfounded rumors.
Great. How effective is the COVAX Astrazeneca vaccine, Dr. Shamila?
The COVAX Astrazeneca vaccine is actually one of several vaccines available through the COVAX facility. It has an efficacy of 63% against symptomatic disease. And with the second dose, the efficacy increases. By that, it means that the majority of people who take the vaccine will be protected from symptomatic disease and, most importantly, the severe forms of the disease.
Great. We have 36,000 Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine and 10,000 Chinese Sinopharm vaccines. That's just 46,000. Would that suffice for the Gambia as infection surges?
This is the first tranche of vaccines from the COVAX facility, and we are expecting to have more doses. Okay. The Gambia is expected to receive vaccines that will sufficiently cover 20% of the population, which is about 487,780. Based on the projected population 2013 census. Before the end of this year, we are hoping to have vaccinated all our eligible people. The aim of this first phase of vaccination is extremely important and is to protect the most vulnerable people. So we are going to prevent deaths happening. We are going to decongest our treatment centers so that our healthcare workers can concentrate on other areas of health service. But also, most importantly, we are also, through this vaccination, begin the process of economic recovery.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shamila. It was great having you and for clearing that doubt for the Gambian citizens. You're welcome, ma'am. As part of events marking the International Women's Female Lawyers shared success stories of how they overcame numerous challenges in achieving their dreams. The legal profession, which is often male-dominated, has seen a wave of women venture in the profession over the years. Mamudu Gajaga reports.
Women have occupied prominent positions around the globe in various areas of work, among them the legal profession. A few months ago, many were called to the bar in the Gambia, including women. Standing up for the less privileged appears to be a motivating factor for Fatou Jao. Coming from an underprivileged background, was her source of inspiration to become a legal practitioner.
I see a lot of injustice in the society, especially for the less privileged, and I came from a less privileged family. I came from the village, and that is where I did my schooling up to senior school. That is when I came to St. Peter's and I was here. So coming from an underprivileged family, I see most of the lawyers retain the privilege, I will call it. So we don't have a lot of lawyers within the less privileged.
Achieving a career success as a woman, especially in a country that is largely patriarchy, could be very hard, but family support was a catalyst for change for some. Ndei Ngone Jeng, a solicitor, says family support has greatly helped her in attaining her dream to become a lawyer.
My family was very supportive in the sense that they stood by me and, they made life easier for me, especially in terms of, house chores, gender roles in the Gambia where, young women have things that they're supposed to do at home. My family took a lot of that load off of me so that I could focus on my studies, and that helped a lot. Because all I had to worry about was wake up, go to school, come home, study, and then, repeat the cycle.
Senior lawyer Hadi Dande Jabi, the deputy lead counsel at the TRRC, says she does not have a problem of male dominance in workplaces. She believes a strong mentality and hard work will make one stand out, regardless of their gender.
As a woman, I don't think I've really faced those hurdles of being dominated by men, because I think it also depends on how you carry yourself as a woman. You have to make yourself to be heard, do the job do it better than the men do it. We do that, they can't dominate you. So I think it's something we've had in our heads for a long time, that men can dominate us in the workforce, and I think it should change. Thanks.
Women remain to be great pillars of our society. The role of Gambian women in the legal profession is immense.
A bridge linking Nyoro Jata and Sankandi Upper and Senior Secondary School in Kiang West is in such a bad state that students hesitate crossing on it, causing many to report late to school. The communities and school administration are appealing for assistance to help fix the bridge. And Sumana Isunyasi tells us more.
This is how bad this bridge is. It is in a very deplorable state. The school administrators say they have complained to the authorities for the past 3 years and nothing has been done to have this sorted. What is even more scary is the fact that vehicles are still plying this bridge, and over 300 students and 20 school administrators ply this bridge on a daily basis on average. And with the rainy season fast approaching, their lives are even at greater risk. For the communities of Nyoro, Jataba and Sankandi, this is a disaster waiting to happen. They have been calling for support, which has not been forthcoming. This bridge, despite its current state, with visible cracks and a foundation about to crumble, remains the only route linking the school, the main road and the rest of the community. A worried Salim Silla, the principal of Nyoro Jataba Sankandi Open Senior Secondary School, says the school and members of the community are extremely worried about their safety.
If you look at the bridge at the moment, it's a question of a matter of when, but it's going to collapse sooner or later.
The principal adds that officials of the NDMA and the National Assembly Select Committee on Education are aware of their predicament after they visited the site. However, 3 years later, the issue remains unaddressed.
Since then, we made several attempts to alert the attention of the authorities, but so far we haven't got any response yet.
Jara Job, the head girl of Nyoro Jataba and Sankandi Open Senior Secondary School, calls on the authorities, philanthropists and NGOs to come to their aid.
We are really asking for help because it's very dangerous. Looking at it, it's not even safe. Because me, the first time I saw it, I get panic because it's not safe, especially during rainy season. So it may collapse and it may cause a lot of injuries.
There have been many bridge collapses, some resulting in fatalities and loss of property. Some, like this one, have been due to poor construction from the beginning. Others have collapsed because of old age or the poor quality of building material. However, residents in this community believe that the bridge has outlived its productive years. And as such, the wise thing to do is to construct a new one. Otherwise, they fear the worst could happen. Ansmane Sonyasi for Qtv News.
From that story, we will take a commercial break. Still to come, we have some more local and sports news. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is Qtv News coming to you live from our studios along the Caraba Avenue. I am Maria Masane. A former Inspector General of Police and the current Minister of Interior, Yankuba Sonko, appeared before the Truth Commission on Tuesday to respond to questions about the 2005 government massacre of West African migrants in the Gambia. Babukar C reports.
Yankuba Sonko was the crime management coordinator when the issue of the West African migrants killed in the Gambia was being investigated. He is now the Minister of Interior. The witness was among the task force members constituted by the State House at the time to investigate the alleged disappearance of the migrants, coupled with the arrival of ECOWAS and other international bodies investigating the matter. He began by giving the names of those he remembered being in the task force.
Secretary General, Office of the President.
Secretary General, President of Office.
Secretary of State for Interior,
Secretary of State, Memmarta Banko Kankunya La Wolem Siran Teoti Kafonyinkolo.
Secretary of State for Justice.
Secretary of State, Memmarta Tilimunin Kitola.
Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs.
Secretary of State, Member Nimbantala Banko Lutema.
Inspector General of Police.
Police La Kuntonko.
Director General of the NIA.
Director General ulam NIA unkol la
Chief of Defense Staff,
mem fanamu nyato
National
koti
Army.
sojaru la karola.
The support team,
Makoir lalu
Malamin Sise,
Numo
Kujabi, Yankuba Sonko, Ali Jabang, Ibrahim Drame, Assis Haidara.
The witness told the commission that he was in the UK on studies when news emerged that migrants were killed in the Gambia. However, on his return, he says things were silent in the country. He said he only came to know about some of the heinous acts done in the country when Jammeh left office and he ordered the arrest of the junglers. He confirmed that there were people above the law during Jammeh's government. The Interior Minister said the investigation surrounding the killings of the migrants and what the government said at the time is terrible.
You would agree with me, you've mentioned earlier, that the investigations of the killing of the West African migrants was a government cover-up.
Yebe son na manyina la ko yeyim fonye nun ko man to ko nying Africa tiliginda la banku dingo mol na fa nying kula me ya longo masakunda la maborola.
Well, when facts are known now, it's a cover-up, definitely, by all circumstances.
Ronyalu fintira nyame moli ya long wo ken wo mukuleti ye menke dure lafta murala ka mabo kolu keta nyame.
But even that time, when this task force was set up, it was known that it was a cover-up, especially within the circles of police.
Probably it will be done by people who are here at the time and they know the facts. I don't know the facts.
On the issue of the missing diary from Barra police station, the witness said he requested for the diary after going through Martin Kayori's report and knowing that Amnesty International would come for an investigation and wanted to smoothen their work when they arrived. When part of the report was read to the witness, this was his response.
Of course, with the facts that are available now, it's a lie and then it's a cover-up.
The witness said he came to know about the extraction of pages from the diary and how the record was falsified, but was not aware at the time. On the statement made by Kebaba that the CMC at the time ordered him not to say anything to the international investigators, the witness denied that was the case.
I went straight to him and I said, Toma, is it true that somebody died in your custody? And he looked at me for a while. He said, Tom, between me and you, he died.
The witness accepts that the arrested protesters were beaten by his men and that some sustained injuries and others were released immediately, while others were charged and taken to court. On the disappearance of Chief Ibrahim Mane as Inspector General of Police in 2010, the witness said he searched for the files relating to Mane but found nothing. Babu Karsi, Qtv News.
Many of us are grateful for good teachers who helped and encouraged us on our educational journey. We rarely get a chance to thank them. The community of Bundung and former students of Bundung Primary School recently held a celebration ceremony in honor of Fabakari Kamara for his 30 years continuous service as a teacher at the school. More in this report.
Hugs, gifts and tears of joy and an emotional filled environment encapsulate the life of a man who has dedicated 40 years of his life teaching. His journey began at Bakalar Primary School in 1981, where he taught for 2 years before moving to Bakau Primary School. Following 6 successful years, he was posted to St. Mary's Primary School, where he remained until February 25, 1991, when he was posted to Bundung Primary School, where he continues to serve with distinction and is highly celebrated by members of the community. They credit him with transforming the lives of many people in Kanifing municipality. However, despite his massive contribution to the growth of the education sector in the region and his 30-year service in Bundung, Mr. Kamara, as he is fondly called, was never promoted, prompting his former students and the community of Bundung to organize a day-long event to celebrate the life of a man they regard as a father figure. Some of his students now serve in key positions in some of the most reputable institutions worldwide. Speaking to QTV, an emotional Mr. Kamara expressed gratitude to the community and his former students for recognizing his contribution to their lives and for 30 years of continuous service at Bundung Primary. However, like many who know him, he is equally disappointed that his service was never formally recognized.
After the qualification up to date, I have never been promoted. Until this recent promotion, that I am lucky to be part of it.
You know what is responsible for that?
Nobody knows, because nobody is explaining to me. Well, I never went to find out. Maybe I was content with what I was having. Teaching is my passion. It's my passion. So I was not looking for money. I'm not looking for status. It's just my passion. Sitting over these children, seeing them go through, grow through, to become leaders of tomorrow is my passion.
Men, women, young and old, all gathered at the school premises to shower him with gifts and messages of appreciation. He is undoubtedly the most popular teacher in KM, from cleaning classrooms to washing toilets and organizing free private lessons for students, and sometimes serving as a guardian. Mr. Kamara does it all. Speaker after speaker praised his impeccable character and unflinching service to duty. And despite the many challenges he continues to face, he says teaching is a calling for him, adding that no amount of money or privileges can sway his love for the profession.
This day also is a special day for me, because the day I was posted here on the 25th of February 1991 was when, the very day, my father, my stepfather, who enrolled me into school, passed away.
His retention at a single school for such a long period is unique, and whatever the future holds for this well-loved figure, his achievements will remain a point of reference for current and aspiring teachers. And as he gets closer to retirement, his family, friends, colleagues, and former students are hoping he will be judiciously rewarded for his invaluable service to education and by extension to the country. Answane Sonyasi for Qtv News.
Still with the TRRC, the Alcalo of Ghana Town, Ismail Ajany, on Wednesday told the Truth Commission that 2 Ghanaian nationals were brought to his home in 2005, seeking refuge after they escaped from the bush running for their lives. Babakar Sir again.
The Ghana Alcalo, Ismail Ajany, said a year after being made Alcalo, some villagers escorted some strangers who told him that they were on board a boat from Senegal to the Gambia to join a ship en route to Spain, but were arrested in the Gambia and taken to the bush.
During ye sambaje ye ike fulafula bondi pikopokono.
He said when they reached that forest, they started taking them away in two by two. They will come and pick up 2 and go away with them.
And what would happen when they were taken away?
Silang muna kanake ninga traye bondi o pick up nyingono moto nyingono ke samba.
So ne samba ye mean samba biko o bukana morona.
He said that if they take away 2 and go along with them, those 2 people will not return.
Ikoika kidi kamo mwele biri be pikoto ifo itoli imestol samba watu meneke kidi kamo le mwe.
He said as these people were carried away 2 by 2, they had gunshots.
The Alcalo said he was told by one of the victims that later they all scattered and ran for their lives, and 2 of them were escorted to his home in the morning. The witness said they offered food and shelter to the men and allowed them to sleep until around 2 p.m. when he was called by the police and asked to go with them to the bush, as there were 8 dead bodies found, and wanted him to help them identify the bodies.
Manna Ghana town mo identify Jemialonko Ngalong.
Then we didn't see any person among them who happens to be from Ghana Town, whom I knew before.
Did you see the corpses?
Yes, I saw all the corpses.
The witness said he saw all the dead bodies but didn't recognize anyone from Ghana Town. He told the commission that he didn't examine the bodies to know what exactly killed them, but could visibly see some of them bleeding from their nose and ears. The witness said the 2 Ghanaians were later taken to the police station under the instruction of the Ghanaian consular official in the Gambia. The same evening, the Alcalo said he took food for them at the police station, only to be informed that the 2 Ghanaians had been taken away. According to a letter read by the lead counsel written by the Ghana's then foreign minister, now the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, the 2 people that were taken to the police station by the Alcalo were nowhere to be found. The witness said when Akufo-Addo met him at the Burfoot police station, this is what he told him.
But what he told me, he said even if it will take him 10 years, he will follow this matter.
The Alcalo of Ghana Town said he never heard about these 2 Ghanaians again since 2005, but could vividly remember that what he was told when he took the dinner to the police station and what they told them when Akufo-Addo came were 2 different stories. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
The United Nations Office for Project Service on Monday handed over ITC equipment worth over $27,000 to the Kanifing Municipality Council as part of the Greater Banjul Area Sustainable Urban Development Program 2020 to 2040. Omar Pijalo has the rest of that story.
This project is funded by the African Development Bank and is implemented by the United Nations Office for Project Services, UNOPS. The donated materials, which include desktop computers, drones, UPS, printers, storage units, GPS and handheld devices, are to be used by the KMC and also for uplifting the buffer zone park as it is lacking in the facilities. At the handing over, Agati Nyongareb, UNOPS Senior Project Manager, said the donation was part of the project aim to support local councils. She described the KMC as one of the busiest and most populated places in the country. Thus, it deserves help.
It's such a special day for the Greater Banjul 2040 project. This long-awaited consignment is finally here. The Greater Banjul 2040 project aims to support local councils in the fields of urban planning, land management, infrastructure planning, and revenue collection. In the past year, our team has focused on technical assistance mostly, engaging very closely with the planning, IT, and finance departments of KMC. We help design technical solutions to the many challenges your teams face. The biggest challenge of all, though, has been the shortage of modern tools to fulfill the Council's mission.
Receiving the items, the Deputy CEO of KMC, Kajali Jane, said the equipment will help the Council in its drive to collect reliable and credible data and also maximize the Council's revenue collection.
Materials that will be very useful in collecting valuable data for Council's consumption. And not only that, they will also help the Council to maximize its revenue generation. The Banjul project, Greater Banjul project, has been highlighted by Agatha. It's a very reliable project that the Kanifing Municipal Council and other councils in the country wants to see its fulfillment. So as a council, we very much concerned about the project. We are fully behind the project, and with the reception of this valuable equipment, I assure you that the Kanifing Municipal Council will put this material into valuable use.
Nyima Kamara, the Director of Planning at the KMC, expressed gratitude to the donors, promising that the materials will be put to good use.
These equipments are being handed over for the development of the digital master plan for the Greater Banjul area. The materials will go a long way to facilitate revenue maximization for the councils to undertake the implementation of our development projects. These materials will be greatly taken care of to ensure sustainability of this project.
It's now remains to be seen how this multi-million-dollar project will impact the life of ordinary people and uplift the buffer zone park in Talinding for recreational purposes, for which it was designed. Reporting for QTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
From that story, we'll take another commercial break. Still to come, we have some sports news. Don't go away. For those just tuning in, this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios along the Caraba Avenue. Up next is international news. On International Women's Day, the Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament advocates increased female participation in lawmaking and parliamentary services. As Aliou Cisse reports, women currently presented only 16.1% in West African parliaments.
International Women's Day provides the opportunity for the world to take stock of the significant contributions of women. However, with the theme of this year's International Women's Day, Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID World, paves the way for continued discourse on the outstanding work needed towards achieving systematic and sustainable change on the rights and emancipation of women. Just like many, an event marking the day was organized by the women of the ECOWAS Parliament called ECOPAL Amazons, held at the ECOWAS Parliament building in Abuja, Nigeria. As the world gradually begins to come out of this COVID-19 experience with a renewed hope for a brighter future than the immediate past, Sidi Mohamed Tunis, Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, said women must be given an integral role to play in the future that is built. Nevertheless, despite the work carried out by ECOWAS Parliament in terms of advocacy and actions for the involvement of women in leadership roles, he observes that the region still falls short of recording significant figures. For instance, the most recent available statistics provided by the West Africa Brief show that women occupy 421 seats in West African parliaments and votes represent only 16.1% of all lawmakers. Furthermore, 12 out of the 15 ECOWAS member states are short of the 23.3% world average of women in government. In the region, women occupy, on average, less than 20% of ministerial posts, and of those, they are mostly clustered in the ministries covering women's affairs and social issues.
Article 63 of the ECOWAS Treaty on Women and Development calls on the member states to formulate, harmonize, coordinate, and establish appropriate policies and mechanisms for the enhancement of the economic, social, and cultural conditions of women.
The theme for this year's International Women's Day seeks to promote the idea that the world must and has now come to embrace the necessity for women's full and effective participation and decision-making in public life. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
On Saturday, the Basses Sub-Zone Football Committee, the third edition of the QCell-sponsored tournament, concluded at the Bassa Mini Stadium, with Sabi FC defeating Medical FC by a single goal. Fodemane was at the final, and his report is narrated by Mamoudou Gajaga.
Regardless of their profession as health workers working within the region, these boys have shown an incredible performance in the course of the tournament, despite considering them as one of the underdogs to participate in the contest for the final. Both teams had eliminated several strong sides to make it to the final. Saturday's final turned out to be a tightly contested match between the two teams. In the 27th minute of the first half, Ibrahim Osane of Sabi found the back of the net for his side, and Sabi went into the second half with a 0-0. Medical FC fought hard to get back on terms, to no avail, and even had 2 penalty appeals turned down by the referee Alaji Ba. After the final whistle, Seni Kamara, the head coach of Medical FC, was disappointed with the loss and the match officiating.
We prepared very well, as you can see. We played very well. We took our first chances but could not capitalize on them. So unfortunately, there came a very early goal. Then from there, we have to go back and make those automatic changes so that in order to come back into the game before break. But unfortunately, we could not level the game and went to break. So that means I have to come back with an purely attacking formation, which I did, as you see. So in doing that, we have 2 clear-cut chances. We could have earned 2 penalties. But unfortunately, the official, the referee wasn't by my side. He disallowed all of them and allowed play to continue. So with all that, I still strengthened my attack, but unfortunately, time wasn't by my side. So I'll just say, the best team loses over the night. You understand? Because, like I said, I should have grabbed those two penalties. They were clear penalties and even bookable offenses. But no, a penalty wasn't awarded and the player wasn't booked.
Mohamed Kamara, Sabi FC's long-serving captain, says hard work is what is keeping his team on the top of Basse football, and also unveil his likely plans for the future.
Ni lafta kupola for a train for a team for soto. So the team ole ngalondilo kabirin ametale amanke science. So
if you want to win a lot of trophies, you need to train and put in a lot of hard work, and that is what we have been doing. We have a very good team with talented players. We always support young footballers and bring them up to take up the challenge. Personally, I am old in the team, and possibly this is my last tournament to play. Sabi FC's head coach Musa Jumasila revealed his game plan for this match.
Medical hibeganinga weni kama ndatu wananti medical team wani ko ima steme kama complete team yeti honagiroge.
We started a long time ago. We started planning against Medical FC from the training ground to match day. I knew Medical do not train much together. So I came up with a plan not to allow them to settle in the game first, and I want us to score early against them to keep them out. Also, my defense was very stable to maintain the lead. Esa Kanute, the Secretary General of the Basse Sub-Zone Committee, thanked QCell for sponsoring their tournament for the third time and further disclosed their future plans.
Definitely the future, the sky is the limit. Because we are endeavoring, we have many plans to do. We are presently trying to stage another trophy. We are also trying to work on the Basse high level. We are also trying to bring more teams on board. So definitely the sky is the limit for the future of Basse Sub-Zone.
At the end, runners-up Medical FC were presented with a cash prize of $25,000. And winners Sabi FC went home in joyous mood with $45,000 and the trophy. Umudu Gajara, QTV News.
That's all we have for you in this edition of the QTV News. Thanks for watching. Do have a pleasant night.